Welcome, everyone, to episode 30 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River.
Hey, everybody.
Crimson Warlock.
Hey, what's up?
Jez.
Good morning.
And Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Actually, give me a second, because I really don't have everything set up for housekeeping.
You know what? That was really smooth to everybody listening at home. It was kind of hairy here for a moment there because River hadn't shown up yet, and so I just said, all right, we'll look at. If he doesn't show up, we'll invite Bell Bunny into the show, and if he does, then he does, and everything's cool. And I hit broadcast, started the intro, and then he showed up right before I said River, and it was great. It was perfect. I was going to say something about, this is the part of the show where he would usually talk about, other broadcasts.
No, housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
I was waiting for silence.
Yeah, I do apologize for that. All right, but anyways, thank you for everybody who's listening into the podcast. However it is that you choose to listen, be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G1NET. And just a reminder that the Twitter account is the only instance right now that we use the number 1. So again, that's G, the number 1, NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. And also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. There's also a Bungie.net forums group that's currently at, you know what? I have no idea what membership we're at right now.
I don't either, but last night I went through and I added everybody on who was on the PlayStation side of the clan. And I'm going to go through tonight and add everybody from the Xbox side of the clan. And it's cool. It's interesting to see all these people that I don't have on my friends list that I absolutely should. So we're doing good. I feel like we're doing great.
I think so too. In fact, and if you guys want to join the Guardian 1 clan, be sure to search out here. Here we go. Guardian 1 has its own clan. So if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just select the buttons that say set as PlayStation Clan or set as Xbox Clan after you join the group. Utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. We do appreciate your patience. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. Broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Can't catch the show live. You can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian 1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio, which is broadcast every Monday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardian Radio. Other podcasts include Warlock School, TTL Party Chat, EOD Podcast, Robust Radio, and the Audio Grimoire Ghost and Echoes, and that's it. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Remy. I really appreciate you guys sticking around as long as you did. Oh man.
Right. Well, we had to start it because people were tearing down our Twitch chat. Bell Bunny and Axios.
Thanks, Bell.
So we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and it doesn't feel like a lot of stuff because the Bungie League update was rather thin. Agrios, was there even anything in there that is worth talking about other than before the House of Wolves, we will be receiving a fairly significant update?
Well, no, you pretty much took the only words I had to say about it right there. Yeah, no, there is a little bit more further down the list that we. They basically that's what the meat of the update itself is, just letting us know that we will in fact get 1.1.2 before the House of Wolves drops. Not a whole lot of information about, not even hints about what that may contain for the most part. They go on to mention that they're going to have another ride-along coming up. World artist Sam Jones is going to be on hand to show us the seeds of the lunar colony, as they put it. Terra Mantis will be accompanying him. You might recall he is one of the winners of the Bungie video contest. He made that outstanding lore video revolving around Crota. And he'll be accompanying Sam Jones on this ride-along. It's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific tomorrow on Twitch.
Awesome. Those ride-alongs are awesome.
I've really been enjoying them.
Yeah, it seems at first glance like there wouldn't necessarily be enough to talk about, but when you sit there and you're talking to these people, when I met them, over the course of PAX, and the other things I've been able to attend, they want to talk about Destiny as much as we want to talk about Destiny, but they're the ones in charge of making it. And so it's really great. It's really great to see that much interest and that much passion. It's really a beautiful thing. And on display is this passion. On display is this interest. And it's great to hear the little stories and the lore. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I love how there always seems to be some kind of tidbits, some kind of really juicy little tidbits that maybe are even placed there on purpose. I imagine that these people know that they're about to go on this mission, and so maybe it behooves them to keep some bullet points around. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be awesome.
Moving on.
I'm excited for it too.
Have you guys had a chance to either watch them live or keep up on them? River?
I've seen them all.
No.
Is it just because you're busy playing Destiny or playing Daddy, or is it just you're waiting for
Real
other
life,
people
man.
to
I
wrap it up?
hadn't even touched Destiny this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, things are just crazy right now.
Man.
And you know what? One of these days, I'll get to it. I promise.
Well, they're definitely worth it. They're definitely worth it. And my favorite so far was the one with Hardgrove. He really holds their feet to the flames because he knows what he's talking about. It's they can't just say, oh well, we did that because we did that. He's got a real question and they need to come up with a real answer. But yeah, it's a great series, and I don't know. It's funny that you say that this week is a hard week for you with Destiny, because last week was probably the lowest that I had played since before the game came out. Like I didn't get a single Nightfall done on Xbox or PlayStation, and I don't know, I started to feel this horrible feeling where I was like, well, you know what? I already know that I'm not getting what I want. I know I'm not getting the cool exotics that I want. Why am I even doing this? Like, I hit this wall. Have you hit this wall this week, River?
No, because whenever I play Destiny, it's always with the intention that, you know what, maybe this is going to be it's more optimistic view. How's that? Because I feel like I'm an optimistic person anyways. So even I find a lot of value in whatever it is I get.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good because when I'm away from Destiny, all I think about is, man, am I just wasting my time wishing I was playing this game? But this week, okay, so save for the fact that the weekly heroics are now match made. I actually got 2 of those done on both systems, just because I was able to jump in and get it done. And I don't know, thank goodness for those weeklies being that way, because now. Uh, I am able to run some Nightfall, with my good friends Agrios and Sharks, and then I don't have to bother them to get these heroics done. I know that they've already ran these things a million times. I don't want to have them run it a million times again. So I don't know. Crimson Warlock, you said that you have been playing other things besides Destiny. Is this forced? Is this because you are not interested in playing Destiny, or you just had to do something else?
I kind of had to do something else. Last week was my birthday, and I decided to treat myself to the new Dragon Ball Z game, and so I've been playing that for a while. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan, and it's been refreshing to do something different. And playing Destiny again this week after taking a little break is the refresher that I needed. Like I feel like I can do this stuff over and over again after taking about a week break from it, and it's fun again. I hope that my Nightfalls don't give me Ascendant materials this week, like they did last week, the one that I ran. But you know what? I'm ready to chase that carrot again because I need a Thunderlord and I need a Hawkmoon.
Funny that you should mention that because I actually got Thunderlord this week, in one of those Nightfall, and I'll tell you what, it's cool to have it. I'm glad that I have it, but I guess it's really going to shine once I upgrade it, because right now it really just feels like I could replace it with any one of my legendary heavy machine gun and not even miss it. It's cool. It has that animation where it glides, or where it glows, and it's cool that I don't know that I have it, but it's not anything big. It's not game changing like I imagine the Hawk Moon would be. Jez, what about you? How are you in relation to Destiny? I know that we talked previously about you having done basically everything, and therefore you've stepped away. I think that I saw you playing Helldivers, and that looks like a really awesome game. But where are you in relation to Destiny?
I'm still gonna be like super ADD about playing random other games, but lately I've been quite back into playing Destiny because deleted 2 of my Titans and now I have 1 of each class at 20. So
Nice.
for some reason, after not playing a hunter in so long, playing a hunter is so much fun.
That's awesome.
Of course.
Hunters are fun.
Hmm.
Well, that's
So snappy.
That's good. That's good. I've actually been playing random other games too. There was actually a moment this week where I was like, okay, I can do bounties and I can do the same thing that I do every day or every week or whenever I get a chance to, or I can play this game I've never played before. In addition, because I got that Xbox One, there was like a whole aspect that I hadn't had a chance to play through yet. A couple of free-to-play games like Project Spark. That's pretty cool. I really have had a great time in Project Spark, like building levels and building a third person game. Like I don't know. I love building things. I love Forge. I really need Destiny to catch up and get a Forge. But I imagine that, like we've said before, it's probably not until Destiny 2, and so here we go again.
Hmm.
Agrios, where are you? I think that you're probably the most hardcore player that I probably know. Where are you in relation to Destiny? Are you still playing it like crazy?
Yeah, I play it. I play it every day. I've been drifting more and more, a little bit more into other games, a little bit more often. But I definitely get my time in Destiny every day. It's honestly more the people I play with and whatnot. Like the friends I have on there. Like I'd miss them if I didn't play Destiny for a few days. To be honest, need to get more of them to get some other games, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still getting everything I need to get done on all 3 characters every week. had quite a dry spell and ran into some luck recently. The other day, after getting mostly mats forever, I got Red Death, Black Hammer, Light of the Abyss, Crux of Crota, and a Helm with Infusion all in the same day.
A helm with infusion. What does this mean?
That's the orb
It's-
healing ability.
Oh,
Yeah.
the orb healing ability.
The one that's really
Right,
good
but-
for hard mode Crota.
Exactly. That way my hunter can wear that helmet and wear a more useful exotic for his encounter there, because the only other healing I had prior, as long as I were running my Gallowhorn, was the Helm of the Third Man, or Mask of the Third Man, I mean. And that's not as useful for that encounter.
Gotcha. Yeah, it really, what it comes down to, what Destiny comes down to is the friends that you play with. It is the group of people that join you on these missions. Like when I don't have you and Sharks Agrios to play with, it just seems so daunting, like I'm never going to get these things done, and I just feel like it's just hanging over me. But then, like this week, you guys were both on right at the turnover, and then we just knocked those 3 Nightfalls out. Like, it wasn't even a big deal. We just did it. I've got those done, and it feels great. But on the Xbox, I just don't have this kind of support system. So anybody out there listening, I'm looking for 2 people to show up on Tuesday night, probably around midnight, either on Xbox 360 or Xbox One. I don't care. Prefer Xbox 360 because the controller is awesome. But you know what? I don't care. Let's do it on Xbox One. If you are looking for someone to do this with, let's do it. It feels so great to have those things knocked out as soon as possible. And I'd just like to get it done and over with. This is my one chance to get these things. Like, it feels great to have them done. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this support system on the Xbox side. So please let me know if this is something that you are interested in. We'll team up. We'll become great friends, and I'll get Thunderlord and really piss you off. Sorry, Sharks. Cool. Well, let's. Why don't we go into?
We got a little bit more update here.
Okay, why don't you give us that?
Okay. They go on. The rest is some technical information, but I feel it's worth mentioning. The Fourth Horseman got an unintentional nerf during patch 1.1.1, and they're working to fix that. Its current rate of fire, magazine size, and stability are incorrect, so it got quite a nerf.
Funny thing is, I thought that was a buff that it got, because some people were saying how good it was since the patch, like better than like not Fellwinter's Lie, but better than like Invective and other auto shotguns like that.
Interesting.
I found it, but I believe I read somewhere, maybe it was the developers open house or something, when they said it was actually got nerfed. It needs buffed.
I'll take a look.
But yeah, I'll take a look. I'll dig deeper on that too. They don't really specify in the update. I was going off previous knowledge on that. They do. It is, however, does have an incorrect rate of fire, magazine size, and stability, and they're working on to fix that. It makes me feel like it's a nerf, or why would people aren't going to want them to fix it? So them advertising they're going to, it seems counterproductive. I don't know.
Does anybody here even have that?
Not
Sharks
me.
got it.
I have a Fourth Horseman.
Is it any good?
I haven't tried it yet. I haven't leveled it up. I've been trying to level up sniper rifle.
Gotcha.
As far as people saying it's good after the patch, I mean, all the shotguns do double damage in PvE now. So, I mean, compared to the state of any shotgun prior to the patch, they're all going to be much, much better. But along with the patch before, there came an influx of weasel errors when Guardians were trying to transfer their items between their vault and their characters and such. And they've since done some things to help prevent that. This one is of some concern to all Guardians. There are reports that players are losing items when transferring them using the companion app. As they investigate the issue, they want you to please be sure to check all inventories amongst your characters and to use caution when transferring items during mission countdown timers and load-ins for maps. In other words, I wouldn't do it during either of those things, I think is what they're getting at there.
Definitely. And you know what? It's a scary thing. I tried this for the first time on Monday night, and it, at first it seemed like, okay, cool, I just moved this. It was my Oversoul Edict. I moved it from one character to the vault, and it worked just fine. I was like, okay, great. And then I moved it from my vault to my hunter, and it never showed up in my hunter. And I checked the other inventories, and it was not there. And then I went to the post office because Agrios said that there's reports of people finding them there, and it was not there, and it was really scary. I mean, it had I do have two of them, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But at that point, it seemed like, man, this is a raw deal. This is a raw deal. I'm not interested in this at all. And then I tried it again, and it worked just fine. And every subsequent time I've used it, it's worked just fine. So what a great update now that I've seen that it works. But yeah, it's scary. I really feel for people who've been victims of this mobile vault. What a horrible feeling. And actually, I think that you don't even have to be changing your gear to have fallen prey to those weasels, because River got weaseled way bad. River got weaseled way bad.
It was so embarrassing.
But more on that when we get to that update. Continuing Agrios.
That's more or less. Well, there's also the video of the week. I like to point that out too. This week it was a fisticuffs video. Somebody was having an all-out brawl with Randall the Vandal. You guys familiar with Randall the Vandal?
Yes.
No.
And I watched that video. Randall the Vandal is the one really hard Vandal that's over in Forgotten Shore, over by himself. Well, actually, he spawns with a
Shank.
with the shank, yeah. And so this video is this person punching Randall the Vandal, only punching it, and it took him 57 times to kill this Randall the Vandal.
Randall the Vandal has as much life as Crota does, I swear.
Might as well.
Okay. He doesn't spawn with that 100% of the time. Sometimes he's just a normal Vandal, but fairly often he spawns with just an unreasonable amount of life. I remember trying to take him down the whole way back in beta, at a level 8 maximum. And you could do it if you had full primary, secondary, and heavy and unloaded every bullet you had on him and punched him a few times while you're at it.
Didn't they have something like that in Halo? Was there like some special elite or something like that spawned that was tougher than normal just for some weird reason?
That sounds really familiar. But I don't have any more details on that.
Like, I know in Reach they had that invisible invisible elite in the first.
That guy you caught, in the beginning, and you had to get it
very
for. Beginning. What was it that it gave you if you caught him?
I forget. Oh man.
Maybe it was just an achievement.
It could have been.
I think it might.
But I swear that there was something just like Randall the Vandal in, like, I don't know, Halo 3 or something like that, or Halo 2 even. It sounds like something that was just put in there.
Right, and that seems like it would be fun for a developer to put in. Let's put in this really tough dude. I mean, there's some of those public events I don't even try. Like, I'll maybe sit off to the side and wait for other people to show up. If other people don't show up, I just let it go, because there's no, like, at the Hellmouth, there's that Fallen satellite. And then you have Fallen coming in from one side, and you have Hive coming in from the other. That's basically impossible to do if you don't have somebody else there with.
No, I'm disappointed in you.
Well, maybe it's easier on Xbox than it is on PlayStation.
Okay.
in that same section, the destroy the harvesters, destroy the people around the harvesters.
Uh-huh.
I was like on the 4th harvester, and there was this just one Vandal that wouldn't die. It was so annoying because I was like the last one that I needed to kill. So obviously you can't get gold unless you kill everything.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Much like losing Agrios right now is.
It makes me feel like that chances are Randall the Vandal is a bug and not intentional.
Right.
Probably.
Right, I could totally see that. I could totally see Randall the Vandal being a bug, but having been left there because it's funny, Like you're so it's always an elite vandal that shows up there, but then there's one special that drops, right? Because I don't think I've ever seen a non-elite vandal come out of that cave.
Here's the question: do you ever try for any of the the public events to kill the elite if it has a shield?
I have.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of the times,
soloed a
depending
few.
on what you're using, it's impossible because of the reload. Because once you start reloading, it goes back to full.
Yeah, I have run into that.
Totally.
It was impossible by myself. Yes.
It's almost like they should tune that tune that recharge based off of how many people there are.
Right. This is a great point. But at the same time, this forces you to really use your brain, and whether or not I want to mess with this guy. I mean, there are ways around that. Throwing out a grenade while you're reloading, or even Thorn. I really want to get Thorn because of that damage over time. Like it just seems like such a great option, such a great thing to have. I mean, Jez, do you have Thorn?
Yeah, I don't have a new Thorn.
Oh, you have an old Thorn. Did you ever use it?
I don't use it as often as I probably should. I got started to level it up, and then I kind of lost interest.
Crazy.
Crazy. I kind of fell off the hand cannon bandwagon. I got Last Word as like my first exotic, and I was super stoked. And I used Hawk Moon just because it was really, really good. But then after that, it's like Scout Rifles all the way.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Scout Rifles are the brother and or sister to hand cannons, because Scout Rifles have a really nice impact and usually a pretty good rate of fire.
And a really good range, and a really good magazine.
Yeah, I suppose that's it. River, are you still a hand cannon guy, or have you switched to something else?
Honestly, I've actually switched over to more situational. I don't really run with one like exotic anymore. So whenever I go into PvP, depending on what map is we're about to drop into, I'll probably either put on Suros Regime or even the Fang of Ur-Yut whenever things kind of get more long range play for me. Like what is it? Shores of Time in particular. I actually play long range on that one. I don't run and gun anymore in that, especially since the update. So it's very situational for me now.
Interesting. You know what? That's really the way to play. And I've kind of realized over the course of the last couple of weeks that what I really want to do, because what I tried to do for a while was keep, I'll use auto rifles with my Titan. Those two seem to really work together. I'll keep handguns for my Hunter, and the Warlock I will have as scout rifle. As time goes on and I'm starting to accumulate these other things, it's clear to me that I need to have one of each on each character, just because it sometimes plays out that way. It sometimes plays out a little bit. What am I in the mood for? But like you were saying, situational awareness is a really big deal. Crimson Warlock, what do you use mainly?
There's a pulse rifle for every situation.
I like it. So
I
you're
am the original pulse rifle user, and people called me crazy, but since this patch, I've been in love with my Oversoul's Edict and my Bad Juju.
yeah.
I was gonna say, weren't you when the game launched the one advocating? He's like, no, pulse rifles are good,
He was.
and
He
no
was.
one listened.
Totally, and for good reason, because now, I mean,
Yep.
so what so what do they look like now to you, Crimson Warlock, now that you were and now still are this pulse rifle user? Are you like super stoked, or do you even notice?
I've noticed a difference, but it just makes it more fun since I enjoy using the pulse rifle all the more now. Like, honestly, as much as I want a Hawk Moon, I'm like, I've got my pulse rifles. I don't care. Like,
Well, already
shoot.
then.
Why shoot once when I can shoot 3 times with one pull?
You know what, though? I think Oversoul Edict is cheating on pulse rifles because that full auto is nuts. I sometimes forget that Oversoul Edict is a pulse rifle because just holding down the trigger produces
Is it
you know.
faster than Bad Juju?
Oh, okay, I'm back. Sorry.
I would say it is, but I don't use it all that often. Crimson, is Oversoul Edict full auto faster than Bad Juju?
Yes. You can. Well, it's faster, but you can empty the bad juju out, a clip out faster because of it has a smaller magazine.
Ah.
But with the string of curses, if you play well
Oh,
enough,
yeah.
you don't ever reload with it, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I played with Bad Juju for a while, and having it just automatically reload, like anything where there's hive involved, it's a really good time. Because you can usually kill a thrall in a whole clip, and by that time, you know. But at the same time, I don't know. I almost feel like Bad Juju's full auto is better in that it gives you just that much longer a chance to reline up your shot. Where Oversoul Edict is really, it's all over the place. It is all over the place. But Jez, so you say that you are a scout rifle guy all the way, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
What is your go-to scout rifle these days?
Lately, Fang of Uryu, because I got it.
Man, I'm really looking forward to picking that up at some point. That's
a good one.
It's like Vision of Confluence, but it's faster.
Interesting.
I feel like it's harder. It just feels that way.
Let me see. Do I have both in my inventory? No, I don't. I can in a second.
Agrios, what is your go-to weapons? Like, what are you finding yourself using over and over?
I prefer the scout rifles, like Jez said. If I don't have something like that's what I'll go in as a default weapon equipped, and then anything else I equip is situational. I have been liking pulse rifles since the patch, being that I'm likely going to end up using a pulse rifle a lot in PvP. Although I'm still trying to find my new PvP primary. I used auto rifles almost only in PvP before, but since the patch, they're pretty much not worth it at this point.
Really, even Suros?
If you're gonna run one, that's the one to run. But I think there are better alternatives now. I never really did like running the auto rifles. I just did it because to be as competitive as I could.
Yeah. I've always been an auto rifle guy in all of Bungie's works. It always just seemed like the right one to use.
So
because of comparable abilities, Red Death seems to have taken Soros's spot for the Crucible play.
Interesting. What was that, Jez?
Apparently, Vision of Confluence and Fang of Uryu have the exact same rate of fire and impact. So everything we're saying is just anecdotal that we just don't know what we're talking about.
Oh no, man! I mean, whenever you have a weapon, you got to go for the feel too, man.
This is true.
Yep.
This is true.
And something about that may not be accurate about that rate of fire comparison. I know with shotguns, when you get full auto on a shotgun, it doesn't change the rate of fire meter, but there is a significant improvement in rate of fire when you have a full auto. So if other weapons are affected similarly, their rate of fire wouldn't reflect any different on their stats, but in fact it would fire faster.
Interesting. What was that?
I did that experiment with Fell Winter's Lie. I re-rolled mine to get full auto so I could fire it quicker for PvE, and my meter didn't change at all when I got that full auto, but I could definitely, even by pulling the trigger for individual shots, fire much quicker.
I was going to say, I think I might just test how quickly I can run through a clip of both. And that way I can just tell.
There we go. There we go. All right, so moving on.
Moving on. This past week, they had the developer open house featuring Lars Bakken, Derek Carroll, Leif Johansson, Josh Hamrick, and John Wisniewski. And they had an open house. People could post questions. It took place last Friday, I believe, on February 27th. And they answered quite a few. Some of the highlights were It's known that a Blade Dancer makes fewer orbs with their super because they have other benefits while using it. Feel free to jump in if you guys want to discuss any of these in particular. I'll just go over a couple at a clip here.
Honestly,
Bungie knows...
we'll wait until after you're done with everything.
Okay, that works fine.
Right, just take some notes on what it is that you'd like to talk about, and then we
Right.
will we'll cover it afterwards. I like that a lot. Continue.
That works great. Bungie knows No Land Beyond is somewhat weak, but wants to be careful not to make it OP for Crucible. Necrochasm has an 80% chance to trigger and was not buffed/nerfed in the 1.1.1 patch. This is where I saw before we were discussing the Fourth Horseman was accidentally nerfed in 1.1.1. And I have more I can elaborate on that then later. Throwing Knife is safer to use than Shoulder Charge, so it does less damage. Bungie can buff different fire rates of auto rifles if they desire, and may possibly do so someday. In general, Bungie would like guns to work the same in PvP and PvE. Shotguns were the first exception. Weekly group matchmaking was implemented because it was frequently requested by the community. Bungie uses a balance of player feedback and internal metrics to determine their buffs and nerfs. Bungie will continue to look at exotics in future patches, but with no specific promises on that. Burning Shrine, Asylum, and Anomaly will be in the Iron Banner playlist next month. They're discussing having Iron Banner include more than just control, but no specifics were mentioned. Bungie wants to ensure Iron Banner gear is good. They specifically mentioned that they had the 36 light gear available, and Fellwinter's Lie was an excellent shotgun. Special ammo and orbs are under evaluation for PvP and could possibly be adjusted at some point. They agree that the Crucible rewards are low and will be addressed at some point. PvP rewards are randomly given to both winners and losers to encourage players of all levels to complete the match. Crucible modes like Salvage and Doubles are not always available to encourage variety and experimentation. The Third Eye perk, Radar While Aiming, won't do anything in Inferno, just like Faster Res doesn't apply to many PvP modes. Inferno mode for Crucible could be permanent depending on reception and such. PvP in Destiny is different from Halo because Destiny changes and evolves, and Destiny characters are also used in other modes. PvP designers monitor how players interact with each map, but don't have specific current plans to change spawn points. There are plans to eventually add more game types to Destiny PvP, but no specific info was mentioned. And they're not talking about third subclasses yet, but they aren't denying it.
Well,
I'd like to thank the Reddit user Doomsaw616 for compiling this list of talking points.
Right, I'm. Yes, thank you very much for that. This is a very handy thing. Like, I want people that listen to this podcast to get the information that is out there that they might have missed. And this is something that could easily be missed. I mean, it took place on the forums where, not everybody might be hanging out. And then in order to, go through all of that information to parse it would, take quite a while. So I wanted everyone to get those things out there. And really, I have no idea where to start with this. River, did you have something that you wanted to talk about in there?
No, I actually missed most of it. I had to hop off the headset for a second. But definitely if anybody missed it, because I personally missed it as well, definitely go check it out. I'm sure there's some really good information that you might be surprised that you didn't even want to know. Or excuse me, you didn't know that you wanted to know. There we go.
That was good. Crimson Warlock, was there something in there you wanted to highlight?
It's nice that they're putting in a change that will give everyone who participates in PvP rewards. And it's frustrating to spend your time in a 10-15 minute match and be the only one who didn't get any rewards while the guy with the lowest KD gets some exotic or something. Like, it's happened to all of us, and it'll be nice to kind of give back to everybody.
I feel like there should be some kind of algorithm that says if you didn't try at all, you don't get a reward. Like there's got to be a way of determining. There's got to be a way of determining if you tried at all. Because I'm down with people getting rewards to keep them more interested. But when somebody clearly didn't try, when somebody clearly was just AFK, it's disheartening to say the least. For them to get the exotic, for them to get anything. Like it almost makes sense. What they should have is like a first, second, third place tier, and then maybe something that's not an exotic goes out to the other people. Like I don't know. I don't know.
But see, you could also run into that slippery slope where exactly what would be the threshold, and how would you determine whether or not somebody just sucks really bad or they're really not trying. And from a mathematical standpoint, that might be just too much work to really try to make something like that happen. It may not even be worth it.
I think
Maybe-
like a minimum KD of like 0.33, If
But
you didn't,
some
if
people
you didn't
aren't
get that,
really
you
great
might
with
not get it.
KDs either.
Yeah, that's true. But I would hope though. I mean, I've had my games where I didn't get even 0.2 KD. I've had those games, but I feel like a 0.33 is fairly easily achieved. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you too. It's one of those where it's like, well, it's a damned if we do, damned if we don't situation to put a
And
minimum or something.
And it's kind of hard for me to admit, but I have had games where I've had less than a 0.33 KD.
You're fired.
Same here.
I'm
Same
just,
here.
it
I'll
just
stand
happens.
beside you and
Those
admit the same
fools
thing.
down.
The other day, the first match on my hunter or so, I was like 0.25 or something like that because I had no experience with my hunter. It was the first time I took my hunter ever into the Crucible. And then I think I got a 0.25 right there. And that's, I mean, you have low games once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so I still think that there's a way to weed out the people who are AFK though. Like if you don't move X amount of space, like I don't know, if you literally just sit there, you should not be getting the reward. Like there should be
What
at
about
least be
Sniper?
something for that. What's that?
What about Sniper?
Well, you would have moved to some kind of position. I mean, you wouldn't just.
Oh, you mean move from the starting position. But then people would just rubber band their controller so they walk into the wall every time they spawn.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Well, you know what? At least then there's a moving target for the other team. Like
Yeah.
like I hate it. I hate it when I'm turning a corner and someone's just standing there and they're not looking at any tactical position. They're not holding anything. They're just standing there. I don't know. It's
You
So-
see
so-
the slippery slope? You see how it can be good, but it can be bad depending.
well, totally.
I really don't think the resources necessary to make something like that happen. I think it could be better allocated to other things, personally.
At least with the AFK people, you could just say, well, if you never hit anyone with a bullet, nothing.
There it is. There is the threshold. I will go along with that. If you didn't hit anybody with a bullet at all, then you just don't get a reward, even if you were trying. I think that there it is. There's the threshold.
That helps.
I'm happy with that slippery slope. If you did not put forth any offense at all, you don't have a chance for reward.
Like,
What if you were doing
anyone
it
with-
melee only?
Well, then you don't get a reward.
That's terrible.
Well, okay.
Then
But you have to
it's a
damage
damage
an opponent.
indicator. If you
damage an
if you
opponent.
damage, if you get one assist, there you go.
Not even that. Just damage an opponent. You don't even need to get an assist. If you damage them and they get away, you've damaged an opponent. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
I mean, you have like 80 Browns in Necrochasm. I'm sure you could hit something with that.
Well, I mean, I think that if you've got Necrochasm, you're probably more interested in killing the other team than you are, being AFK.
Actually, if you're using Necrochasm, you're not interested in killing anything.
Jeez.
Technically speaking. Well, before the patch, Necrochasm had the fastest TTK in the Crucible as long as you hit all headshots in that TTK.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh, I actually read about that, the No Land Beyond, about how The answer was really good. Do you have the answer to that No Land Beyond question handy, Agrios?
I do. No Land Beyond was built with a very specific playstyle in mind: fast sniping, run and gun, quick scopes, precision shots at close range. This is primarily a PvP playstyle, and we wanted to give players who like this style a weapon that suits their skill set. Admittedly, the weapon is not very forgiving to players who are already acclimated to playing like this. They'll probably die a lot trying to get consistent headshots in the Crucible. Dying over and over isn't fun. The question we need to ask in future the question we need to ask in future exotic weapon patches is how much more accessible we want this weapon to be. Did we go too far in creating a niche weapon that only a few people can enjoy? If we did, is that okay? Can we make it easier to use? If we did, would that turn the Crucible into a non-stop, No Land Beyond headshot murder fest? At surface level, there are definitely things we can do to make No Land Beyond better. You have some great suggestions. But we also need to consider the wake that could incur if everyone had a super sweet one-shot kill weapon in their primary slot in the Crucible. We will definitely continue to listen to feedback, and when it comes time to do another exotic weapon update, I'm sure we'll look closely at No Land Beyond.
Okay, so when I read this answer, I thought you've sold me. You've sold me on No Land Beyond. You've sold me on its place in Destiny, and I feel like I understand it more now. As far as I got it, I was excited to get it. I couldn't hit anything with it because it just didn't translate well on the Xbox 360. But realizing now, that they've spelled it out, that this is a niche weapon for certain types of players, I really like that. I really like that idea a lot, and I like the idea of them making more niche weapons. People of a certain play style having something fun to go to that's just theirs. I think that also keeps it to a certain amount of people. And I feel like when I'm killed with a No Land Beyond, that was fair. I feel like it's just difficult enough to use to where if you can, then you've done a really good job with it. I would never take it into Crucible because I just am not that player. But the idea that there is a specific weapon for a specific person is an exciting prospect. This was made for certain people, and I think that's great. River, did this answer talk to you on any level, or do you still like and or dislike No Land Beyond?
You know what? I really liked the way this was explained a lot because I am a fan of No Land Beyond, and I'm not ungodly with it or anything like that, but I do really appreciate how you need to be good. You need to be really good to be good with this weapon. And I think in the long run with Destiny, because the projected 10-year life of the franchise, we're gonna want to have stuff like this to keep things fresh throughout the entire life of the franchise. Because we're going to start seeing all kinds of weird exotics as each expansion comes out. Because so far, we've gotten new exotics every time an expansion comes out, and House of Wolves is going to have some more, even more. So we're going to want to have these kind of niche weapons for everybody, and eventually, not everyone's going to be running with the same stuff. I feel, and No Land Beyond, man, I remember in PvP, what was the name of that map that has the hive ships in it down on the ground? It's on Earth. Is it like Rusted Lands?
Yes.
Good question.
Rusted Lands. Oh man, yep. I sniped this guy with No Land Beyond. He was in mid-air, way across the map, and that was the most satisfying headshot I have ever had in the entire time we've been playing Destiny. It was so good. I felt so great whenever I did that. But yeah, that was it. That's all.
Right, it's awesome. Crimson Warlock, what do you think about that answer and your feelings towards No Land Beyond and weapons of this type, niche weapons of this type in the future?
It's good to have those things. They're fun to use. I personally detest the gameplay of that weapon. I don't like it, but that's all right. It is a niche weapon for sure. It's something that only a few people will probably ever master, and good for them for being able to master it and to let them have their fun with it. There's plenty of other guns, but I'm also not a PvPer, so trying to use that in PvE is pretty difficult. It's different, but seeing more niche weapons, and the other fun thing about that is, while I've dismantled every single one I've gotten, and in Destiny 2 or 3, people are just going to be like, "What is that gun? Where did you get it? And why do you have it?" Kind of a thing, and it's might be a fun thing to share with others who, by that time, the game might be so inundated with exotics that your chance of getting one is just non-existent.
Yeah, that's an exciting thing, and it makes me think that maybe, once we get into these other games, what if there's no longer a way of getting those weapons? Like, what if they put a moratorium on being able to get them? And that's exciting by itself, like, what if you just can't get No Land Beyond anymore? And if you have it, cool. If you don't have it, you'll wish that you did. I don't know. I could see that going both ways. Jez?
To be honest, when I first seen the model, I'm like, oh yeah, bolt action sniper rifle for your primary slot. It's gonna be so good, but there's so long in between. It's useless for PvE. Well, pretty much useless. You can still use it if you tried. But honestly, the way that I would have fixed No Land Beyond personally would be to make it one-shot kill no matter where it hits and put it in the heavy slot.
Interesting. That seems way powerful.
Well, rocket is one hit if it hits anywhere on you too.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. Agrios.
What about Agrius?
So the way I feel about
the
this.
No Land Beyond, correct.
Yeah.
I was in the middle. I was right in the middle of sizing up the next thing I had to go to in the news feed because I knew it was coming to that. So I was getting ready to go there. And you're like, Agrios. I'm like, oh yeah. Wait, we're talking about Crucible, but what are we talking about in Crucible? Right, No Land Beyond. Haven't used it. Terrible at it. I thought I would like it. I haven't really tried it in the Crucible yet. I might like it in the Crucible. I just haven't got around to it yet. I was excited initially about it because I remembered when I first saw it. It made me remember a rifle from Fallout 3. Actually, there was this rifle that had perfect accuracy, but it was just like kind of old beat up bolt action iron sight rifle. But it turned out it was like my favorite rifle in the game. I used it like constantly in the game because I just liked it so much, and that's what it initially made me think of. And then when I got it and attempted to use it in PvE, it just didn't really work with PvE playstyle like anywhere. Just kind of the way the game was made. I guess if it were more of a wide open world where you're randomly encountering large enemies at a long distance, like it would be more useful. But in the tighter spaces of Destiny, I found it not very many occasions that it would be brought out. However, after reading this, it's re-inspired me to potentially try it in the Crucible for those sort of same reasons I like that gun in Fallout 3. I think I could see myself maybe liking it in Crucible, but I don't know. I have to try it.
Right. You know what? One of the guys I follow on Twitter, Hegemony, he's always boasting about his lack of prowess in PvP, always talking about how he sucks in PvP, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to try some No Land Beyond in PvP and see what happens. And he got an 8-0 KD. Like, he just went through, killed dudes, did not die, right? And then that was that. Like, he just mopped up with it. And this No Land Beyond, like the place that it fills kind of reminds me of the grenade launcher from Halo Reach. A specific tool that if you were able to use it, really just sat down fools like crazy. You remember this, right, River?
Oh yeah.
Right, and this was one of those things where I would pick it up and I would use all of the ammo out of it because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to use it. I just didn't have that didn't have the time to put into it. But this is where this fits, is, something that if you are able to learn the ins and outs, it's probably a really great tool.
So like the Spartan laser.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I would do the same thing with that, except for with the Spartan laser, I would try and take out the bad guys. Like I wouldn't just dump the ammo. I would try, because if you hit, it was game over. And for those who don't know, the Spartan laser was like the big brother of the fusion rifle, basically. Exactly.
That's an understatement.
But
It
yeah,
was all about the whole waiting for the charge time.
right?
Oh man, long charge time.
Right, but then there was the sound that went with it, and there was a visual that people had a lock on you, or that they had you in their sights. It was fun. Halo was fun.
A fun weapon.
Right on. Well, we are running out of time. So what else do we got, Agrios?
Oh, I think we talked about most of the meat there. There's one thing I do want to clarify about the fourth horseman rate of fire got lowered, and they go on to say that they're working to get the weapon restored to its former glory ASAP. So apparently it did suffer a nerf during 1.1.1, so it will get better apparently.
Apparently, it was a weird thing with the old version of the Fourth Horseman having a lower rate of fire, but having a higher reload speed. So that's where I think I was hearing buff, like a because of the reload speed.
Gotcha.
You
So
know,
they buffed part of it, but nerfed the rest of it.
Yeah.
I've run into discrepancies in the way some weapons fire. Like, I had an older Pocket Infinity, and before a patch, it would fire. It would be like choo 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 choo. But then after the patch, choo 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 choo. And so I'm assuming that now that I've played with another one and it's gone back to the higher rate of fire, that was just an anomaly. Did anybody else have this happen? Have you guys played with that Pocket Infinity? It's fun.
I think Pocket Infinity was encountering a glitch during one of the patches too, so that might have been it.
Yeah, I could see that.
But it was I can't remember what it was doing. No, that was something different. It was firing. It would fire the first one, and then they would do something, and then they would come back to it, and it would fire instantly.
Oh, I did remember that. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
that was
crazy.
Yeah,
That's way crazy. But yeah. So what else you got, Agrios?
There was a bit of information that came out of the GDC conference earlier, the GTC panel earlier this week. John Hobson was talking about why they killed the loot cave. Originally, they reported that shooting at a black hole for hours on end isn't our dream of how Destiny is played. Our hope is that social engagement in public spaces is only one part of the Destiny experience. Expect changes soon, which decrease the efficiency of cave farming and correspondingly increase engram drops from completing activities. Then they go on to say at the GDC this year that it was more of the players not doing the math correctly, and that players were actually earning less loot from the enemies that they could in the loot cave, and they nerfed the loot cave to actually help the players. They also included an interesting chart breaking down how players spend their time playing in Destiny. Have you guys had an opportunity to evaluate this?
I saw it when More Console retweeted the shots, but I was waiting for you to fill me in on the details.
Well, there isn't very much details to go with it. That's pretty much all I have. I actually got my information from a Kotaku article originally, and then I saw it in some other places. But they basically have the picture of the pie chart breaking it down. There's no numbers that correspond with it.
Got it.
I heard it's all pretty much even. That's what I hear, anyways. That the spread of players and all activities. Oh, okay, thanks. The player base around all activities are pretty much around even or so.
That's cool.
there's a very large pie of about equal sizes for the tower, the story, and strike. And then raid and PvP are about the same size, with patrol being a little bit bigger than those two.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
It'd be lovely if it had numbers.
But
I
think that's a good indication, though.
Right. I'm glad that everything is working out equally, because that means that Bungie spent the right amount of time on each one. For some people to be, mainly PvP players, and some people like me to be mainly PvE players, but have the breakdown be that even. I don't know. That's exciting. That's exciting to me. It means that they spent enough time on each one to make it interesting to the people who are going to do those activities.
I think they met their goal in that respect. Excuse me.
That's exciting. I think it's got to be exciting to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So, what else you got? Uh-oh.
He's got weasels.
He's
That's
got
what
weasels.
Oh no, that was the curse of the mute button. That pretty much
okay.
wraps everything up that we have here. Since we're coming near the end of the program, I've always got hours more to talk about here, but you know how that goes.
Yep. All right. So why don't we wrap up with the breakdown that Destiny Dispatch posted about the Operation Supply Drop?
Ooh, I missed that.
And for those who don't know, it was a 24-hour stream. I mean, I'm assuming that if you're listening to this podcast, you knew about it. But it was really cool. I finally got a chance to play Destiny with River, and it was really awesome. I actually didn't plan on being part of that at all, because River, you signed up on Xbox One, and until last week, or the weekend before, or whatever, I did not have an Xbox One. So it was really awesome to be able to step into that, and I didn't want to take the focus away from you. This was like your deal. It wasn't that I was going to step in and be this main character. Like, I wanted you to do what River does, and that's, I don't know, I just wanted to be there for you and support you in this mission. And sadly, Weasels got the best of you, and
oh my gosh,
I was pretty certain that they broke my Xbox. Like, at some point during this stream, like in the first 20 minutes, I don't know, River, you got dropped so many times.
I couldn't even believe it.
Right? I can't even imagine your embarrassment and your frustration at the situation. And although I could put myself in that place, and then Destiny Author made me leader, and then all of a sudden I kept getting dropped in addition to you keeping getting dropped, and then at some point my Xbox One just gave me the middle finger. It was still on, like that little glowing thing. The little X was still glowing, but it wouldn't shut off and it wouldn't turn back on. And it was scary. It was scary to think that, these several $100, right? Exactly. I've sent in 3 or 4 Xboxes for the Red Ring, and so I don't know. It just wasn't having it. But yeah, it was really great to hang out with you guys and to play with you. And to all you who don't know, this is probably a great thing that there's not a world chat in PvP. River actually says the words, "Sit down, fool."
You thought I was just saying that?
Well,
What?
I don't know. I didn't realize that it was like a battle cry, or like the tick's spoon, and so at first it was a little unsettling.
Because you don't hear it here. You don't hear it on the podcast that often.
Exactly. You're not yelling at people to sit down here. But it was funny, and it was always a really great canary to, because sometimes you'd yell, "Sit down, fool," but you'd be cut off because they sat you down, and then I would know instantly that where your checkpoint was, you needed backup. And I don't know, it was a level of communication that I don't usually have. I would play normally with Agrios and Sharks, And so I would know when they were sad because they'd be like, "Oh," if they died, or if they're like, "Yeah, I got that guy." But you really, if you guys get a chance to play with him, it's one of those things where like it's like a morale booster. And I can't even imagine.
I would sure hope so.
I can't even imagine if the other people could hear you saying these things, what they would think.
Press
at the
down
time.
on your D-pad, fool.
Right?
See, look at this. Jez knows what's up.
Jez does know what's up.
Well, Remy, one thing I want to say is that I was really glad to have you there, and you shouldn't have felt like that you were kind of intruding on anything, because Guardian 1 was supposed to be there to help out with the stream. Not it. Whenever you had the schedule, it doesn't say SDF River is going to be doing this. It says Guardian 1, and that I think I personally was pretty excited that you were there, because I felt like Guardian 1's here, in Moss. Well, not exactly just me and you, but not just me this time.
Yeah.
And it I had a really good feeling about that until the Weasel era just kept coming up time after time after time. I couldn't believe it. And like you said, it was really embarrassing, because I was supposed to be, streaming for Destiny fans Give Back for Operation Supply Drop. This charity I was really super excited to be a part of, and it just kept killing the stream over and over, and it was just, my gosh. And I wasn't using the companion app at all.
Yeah.
So that cannot be what was going on with that, and I have no idea what was wrong. But I do want to say a big thank you to Bell Bunny of Guardian Radio for picking up the slack. She actually went on and streamed during Guardian 1's time slot there, and kept everything going for the charity. So, from the bottom of my heart, Belle, I really, really appreciate you stepping up and helping us out there. You really helped us out.
Yeah. That was really awesome. That was really awesome. And I felt really good about being there. I felt really good about, being there to support you. But, when it came down to it, this is something that really meant a lot to you, and you had a lot to say. And sadly, the Weasels attacked you right as you began to say it. There was a couple of times when you dropped off the stream where I kind of finished what it was that you were trying to say, so that people got an idea of what it was that you were trying to say.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I didn't, I don't know. This was, it meant a lot to you. There was, you had a lot to say, and you had something to say. So it's really a shame that it ended up that way, because it was really fun to play with you. Like I really enjoy playing with people who are good, because then I have a chance to really shine on a team of really good people. Otherwise, I'm really just a target. Like you run out front and people are shooting at you, but you're killing them first. And so I'm killing their friends who are also trying to kill you. I don't know. It's just a really great synergy until we all got booted. I mean, what the hell, man? That was horrible.
It was a terrible, terrible night for Guardian 1, really.
Right. So sad. And when I saw your tweet about it, like I didn't know what you were talking about at first. Like I knew what you should have been talking about, but the tweet didn't sound that way. But then I read it again and I realized what you were talking about. So
yeah.
So Agrios, you got that information?
I do.
Awesome.
He says, first off, he'd like to extend his sincerest gratitude to everyone who donated, whether it went directly to the foundation page whether you went directly to the foundation page and stuffed your hard-earned glimmer directly into Operation Supply Drop's coffers, or bought one of our glorious T-shirts, you helped donate to a wonderful cause. He lists a few bullet points here. At least $480 were raised via T-shirt sales. Kathleen Tolber, a longtime patron to the Destiny community, donated $1,000. Brock at DestinyLFG.com made good on his offer to gather Guardians and donations for us, so we received $250 from them. Thank you. Shane with the Sparrow Racing League donated $1,000 in exchange for a sacrifice, which turned out to be Pope Bear's second Titan, equipment and all. And multiple anonymous donations were over $250.
Awesome.
Overall, the community came together to raise a whopping $5,487, with a total of T-shirts not yet added into that mix.
Awesome. That's really something. That's really special. And like David was saying last week, they haven't even really begun their push for this. Like, these things usually happen at some time during March, and for him to start it off so early, it's really just going to add to the overall thing. And I don't know, I think that's really awesome. And yeah, thank goodness Bell was there.
I could go down the thank you list if you like too. I think that would be worth throwing out there.
Do it.
Thanks to the moderators for Pyromaniacal, Latitude X, The Legend Blue, Rosic, The Strychnine, Forsaken Noble, more Court, The Eternal Dream, the U.S. Marine Corps, Joshy Goods, Shuby 808, and Fuzzle HC. Jeff and Doug from That Wizard Came From The Moon.com, Bell, and everyone who participated in the stream and donated.
Excellent. Alrighty, so
and of course, Destiny author, thank him too.
Right, none of this would be happening without him, right?
Right.
Truth.
Well, there we have it. Unless anybody else has something they want to talk about before we split.
No, I think we're good.
Alrighty then. That is the show for this week. Shoutouts, Agrios.
I'd like to shout out to SDF River, Remy, and Bill for helping out with the stream, helping out with the Guardian 1 stream, and for representing there. I fell asleep playing Destiny, watching streams in my recliner long before River went on.
I purposefully took that time slot because that's probably the hardest for anybody to really get up that early to make that happen. And I get up that early anyways. For
awesome. Me, it would have been staying up late enough to watch. I normally go to bed right around daybreak here, and but I didn't quite make it that night. I was a little extra tired. I was up early that day and just couldn't make it. I felt bad. I woke up, but it was long after your stream. I was like, oh.
I was thinking about showing up like on console, but like I had a late night shift followed by an early morning shift, and in between was your stream. Wouldn't have worked out too well.
Jez.
This might be meta, but shout out to everyone that doesn't listen because they need love too.
You know what? I like it, and if they ever come across this stream, this podcast, I know they're going to appreciate that, Jez.
But then they would have listened to it and not be part of that.
That's true. So if you've not listened previously, Jez shouts out to you. Crimson Warlock.
My shout out tonight is it's going to be the Bungie for making Destiny and bringing us all together, but also this 1.1.1 patch has just been awesome. And even though I took some time off, I'm loving it, and can't wait for more. Bring on House of Wolves.
River.
Oh, should I give another one? Because I already said mine, Bell Bunny.
Do it again.
Hey, Bell Bunny, thanks for picking up the slack for us, because you're the best guardian angel bunny in the world.
Definitely. Best guardian angel bunny in the world. My shout out is to my daughter Lucy, who is 2 years old, and I've been giving her opportunities to play video games like Sonic the Hedgehog and things like this. There's like this Joyride Turbo on the Xbox 360, and I've been watching her put together the movements on the controller to the movements on the screen, and it's such an exciting thing to watch happen. Like, I will be watching her, and I'll watch her want to go to the left, and then she will move the stick to the left, and I don't know, she's almost got wall jumping in Phineas and Ferb's quest for cool stuff down. She's almost got this wall jumping down, and it's so exciting thinking about all of the video games that I have played in the 35 years that she was not on this planet. And I don't know, it's exciting. This is the very next generation of Guardians here, and I don't know, I really love her, and I'm really excited that she's interested in video games. She's gonna take after Daddy, and who knows? I've been thinking about I've been thinking about contacting the dames to see what the actual level needs to be for being an addition, because I think that she would make a great addition to the dames. She's just not quite there yet, but soon. So that's it. That's our show. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. If I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.